To Pasuk Chav Gimel. We didn't read yesterday. Shlomo, maybe you read yesterday. Yes.
Okay. Ito, Tichelet, V'Agman, V'Tolevet, Shani, V'Sheish, V'Izim, V'Orot, Lim, Me, Adamim, V'Nimim, V'Orot, Techashish, Shim, you bring it all up. And every man that is to be found with him, red. Okay, I guess it should bring all these things.
So the pasuk could understand, and this is what Rashi comes to.
No, it's so strange the way it's written, because bring should be before it all, rather than at the last word.
Okay, V'chol ish, any man asher nimtzo ito, is found with him, tcheles, v'agomon, aquamarine wool, and purple wool, and scarlet wool, and linen, and goat's hair, and red dyed ram skins, and tachash skins, heviu, they brought them. Okay?
Yeah.
Now it sounds, you could learn that means only somebody had all of these things, then he brought all of them. But somebody who didn't have all of them didn't bring anything. So that's what Rashi says, no. The Chodesh...
Just you have to have it work whatever they can.
Oh, that's exactly what Rashi points out. Look at the Rashi, look at the Rashi. You have it at the bottom of the page there. The Chodesh asher nimtzo ito, the second column.
The Chodesh asher nimtzo ito. Okay, the Cheled, Agman, any of these, Shani, or Rod.
So you weren't required to have all these things to be able to donate. If you had just any one of them was good enough.
Bring it on, as he said.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Pasuk Chav Zayin. Chav, sorry. Actually called that. Yaakov.
Kol Marim Turumat Kesev or Hoshet Heviu et Turumat Adonai V'chol Hashem Nimtza Iti.
Ito.
Oh, sorry, excuse me, I got my glasses on. It's Ito Atsei. Oh, thank you. Shiti V'chol Melechet Ha'avodah Heviu. Right.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. Everyone that did lift up
anybody who raised
a truma offering of silver,
raised offering of silver
and copper or brass.
Right?
Why is it used brass sometimes and sometimes copper?
I don't know. I translated brass is nothing. Copper is a natural metal. Brass is an alloy.
Well, I've seen in the Chumashim brass.
I know, but it's you bring on the brass means, right,
Bring it on.
Right.
Oh, yeah, right.
Or bring the brass means money. Let's see the money.
Anyway.
Yeah. So brought the heave offering, or they brought the truma offering of the eternal of Hashem, and every man with whom he was found with him acacia
wood, acacia wood,
for any work of the service brought it.
Right. Means really for the work of construction.
Yeah.
Right. That's avoda. They brought it.
Yeah. Mazot had Azim, and the women spun the goats.
Rashi's going to speak about this. Okay.
This is the goats. This requires extraordinary skill.
No, don't hold it. Hold it,
you guys.
First, we haven't translated the pasuk. That's first thing.
I should hear it's written like that, sorry.
Anyway, let's translate the Chumash first.
Oh.
Jump to the Rashi.
Thank you. Right. So.
1 second. Rashi in the.
I beg your pardon. I can't. It's a new
translation of the Chumash.
Bezu et Izim, and the women spun the goat's hair.
1 second. We haven't translated the pasuk. Text. Upper text.
Upper text.
No. Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Right.
So,
any woman who was wise-hearted,
and spin with their hands.
With her hands,
they brought that which they had spun.
They did the spinning.
And red, purple, and crimson, the 5 linen.
They brought twined threads.
Yeah.
From aquamarine wool, there's Sargomen from purple wool, there's Telas Hashem, the scarlet wool, there's Hashesh, and the linen.
Right.
Okay. Now this is specifically talking about the wool and the linen.
Right.
Okay, so that also requires a skill.
Right.
Telas Shani is scarlet. The reason why it's called Telas Shani, because the dye, the scarlet dye, was drawn from a special worm, which exuded this scarlet dye. That's why Tolas is a worm.
Oh, and what's Shani?
Shani is the type of worm which gives out the scarlet dye.
Oh, okay. There's only one worm. There wasn't a lot of worms.
No, the colour is called Tolas Shani.
They collect all these worms.
I don't know where they got them from.
We've seen snails at night.
Maybe they're indigenous to the desert. I have no idea. Don't know.
Teru et ha'izim.
Oh, yeah, now, okay, next pasuk. We haven't done that. Now, next pasuk. Pasuk Chavov. Chon HaNoshi. In the Chumash, not yet in the Rashi yet.
Oh.
Read the Hebrew first, please. Hebrew.
Where are to
Chavov, 26.
וכל הנשים אשר נשא ליבן אותנה בחוכמה תראו את העזים. So, תראו את העזים.
And all the women
which spun the goats there, literally the goats.
have felt motivated.
Yeah,
right,
this required extraordinary skill
wisdom.
For these
What's Liban? What's Liban?
Liban means literally the heart.
Their
So
heart.
here, there's a feminine form. Liban is.
Liban is special.
So the women spun the goats there, that is the goats.
Them,
And this required extraordinary skill for these
Tovu Esaism. They literally, so literally really means, Tovism means they span, you could be, or Ism means the goat's hair.
from
But
off the
Rashi
backs of the goats.
Rashi understands it, this terminology sounds as if they span the goats themselves.
Oh.
The hair off the goats' backs.
Okay?
Which
so
was still all living
Rashi's going to
animals.
explain, so Rashi says, Tovu Esaism, he haisa umnas yisera. This was a special, extraordinary skill. Okay, from directly from the
Goats' backs.
back, they would twine the thread.
Do you think it was a reason that it was damper, or because sometimes it was easier to weave and it was like
It
pressure?
could be because it was out now. It's interesting. I don't know if you're familiar with the thing. How when you have a wool, right? You shear wool.
Yeah.
How long is the thread on the sheep's back?
3 inches.
Huh?
3 inches.
Let's say whatever. So it's this long. Let's say.
Yeah.
Now, how are you going to get from that? You get threads
I need it damp.
yards and yards long.
And it's twisted and
So you have to twine it. Now, in order to twine well, right?
got to be damp.
Doesn't have to be damp necessarily.
In
Wool has a natural property of being very clingy. It has
right.
like feelers.
It's
Right?
a bit oily.
It's also been oily as well. But the point is that it's easy to twine wool because it has this stickiness, right, to it. It's got this fluffiness to it that it naturally will join on with other threads, and therefore and when you twine it together, it will become one solid thread,
Very strong.
very strong, and therefore that's how you get a woolen thread. But the problem is, by goat's hair, let me finish. With goat's hair, you don't have that. First of all, the goat's hair much thinner, much shorter,
Right.
and also when you try to twine the one head with another, it's ganished, right?
That's not what you do.
So this is, it seems, that's why they did it this way. It could be as Yaakov wanted to say, because it's damper,
Yeah.
right? As soon as it has the moisture which it has on when it's on the goat's back, and therefore that's how they did it this way. But it required when you pulled out a thread, right, and then he took the next hair and started twining it with that one, pulled that one out, and so on and so on.
How I know it's not because I'm clever, it's because I happen to live in an area where all the textiles of the world were supplied, mainly
Manchester.
Manchester. And they had the spinning That's drawing in damp places, which was Manchester area, Lancashire, and
Yorkshire.
And Yorkshire. And it was damp weather, and they were able to spin the dried cotton that came in from the hot countries like Egypt and wherever. So that's why I know that from. And it was called a spinning town.
Right.
That's why, because we're able to
that's
stretch
also,
it.
what's it called? Like you say, bring coals to Newcastle. This is like you say that this is some other term. It was Manchester was known as the textile capital.
Yeah, but spinning, they did the spinning, all the spinning. And it's because they stretched the dry.
It was good for the material.
Or the textile, they were very good in suitings, all the best suitings came. I don't know, in America you probably have the same idea. But I lived near these provinces and it was damp, and the water and all that sort of thing helped in the stretching of the.
Well, my neighbour in town used to make all the rugs in the world.
You know something, in Manchester, they say on any day it doesn't rain.
In other words, it rains every day.
Almost every day.
No, like
So where did all the textiles go? They didn't stay there.
Went to China.
No.
That's right.
Everything went to China.
Went to China, all China finished now.
Unbelievable.
It was called the Cottonopolis of Cottonopolis.
Do you know that they're actually rebuilding the Silk Road, in the 12th century, the Marco Polo, that China is trying to build a Silk Road all the way to Europe.
Wow.
So they don't have to go around, like the other thing. You remember the ships all had to go around to China? Well, that's what China does. They go around all the way and up the Suez Canal to Europe. It takes them a couple of months to supply all the computer products, Acre computer, whatever. Now they have built part of the Silk Road, 4-lane divided highway, and it's only got and speedy trains all the way to the border.
Russia? Through Russia, what?
Oh, that's the problem. Russia doesn't have the money, the will. Russia's poor.
Right.
Yeah, they're building it, but they're building it through all those little republics, and the
like Ukraine,
they're doing it now.
I think they would like to build it through the Ukraine, but the Ukraine is garnished too. No, they're building it through places like Kazakhstan,
Uzbekistan,
and all those stands in order to
Afghanistan.
How about Touristan? Are they building it through Touristan?
No.
Can we get back to the Torah? Can we get back to the Torah?
There was a place in Russia where they wanted to make a Jewish colony. There was a whole thing. That was
yes,
Stalin's
they
last
sent all the Jews over to the place of
Azerbaijan.
No, that's in the south. This is over in
Siberia.
Mongolia.
Yeah,
right.
Somewhere.
All the way over there toward the coast, toward Dagestan. They were going to have this Jewish Republic, and they were going to send all the Jews over there. I think the Jews didn't want to go. There was only 25 to 30,000 going. They were going to save a lot of the population.
I don't know. Whatever.
Anyway, very few Jews went.
Russia makes its money through
what's happening now.
on Syria and Korea.
Talk to me in 10 years.
That's right. The Chinese make their money could be which way, but up.
Yeah, right. They want to get involved in world politics.
No, but we were talking about spinning.
Okay.
And he said everything went to China.
Right. Okay.
He's spinning us a story now.
Yeah. Now, next.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Israel. Pasuk Chav Zayin. And the Sim Hevil. You got it. Top of the page.
Hevil is Avnei Hashem.
Avnei Hashem. Avnei Amiluim. Lo Efet Achosh. The princes, means the leaders of the tribes, they brought the Avnei Hashem, the Sham stones, onyx stones, as Avnei Amiluim, and the filling stones which filled for the breastplate, lo ephod v'lachosh, meaning the Avnei Hashem were on the ephod, and the Avnei Amiluim were on the chosh. Now, okay, it's a long Rashi here. I don't think we actually have to stop here. Rabbi Feldman is supposed to become taking over. Omer of Nosson. Omer of Nosson. Ma roa nesim misnade b'changnusach v'hamizbeach b'tzchula. Right? How comes that when it came to the dedication of the Mizbeach, later on in Parshas Nisim, they were the first ones. But Nechas HaMishkan, when it came to the Nechas HaMishkan, here, lo yisnad b'tzchula. Right? They didn't do a start. Elo kach omu Nisim. And the Nisim said, yisnad b'tzibur, Mashem yisnad. Let the tzibur give everything. You know how these big money, big rich people says, listen, whatever's missing, I'll make up for it, you know?
That's right.
I'll take one of those.
I will double it or whatever it is.
I'll take one of those.
But also, they didn't want to duplicate. Hello?
Actually, it's not.
Right.
Only Mashlim and Moshe. What happened was they missed the boat, almost. All that was left of them, they managed to hop around and get these stones. Okay? But then after he says, so next time they did tshuva, and they said, listen, we're not going to miss out. We're going to be the first now to dedicate the Mizrah, and definitely get the Chumash. I'll have to stop right here. And Rabbi Furman's going to...
This is up here, man.
Over there.
Thank you.
That's Rashi.
I'm sorry, where are you holding?
We are holding on
Verse
Instead.
Chet.
Russia does have money.
Torah stand.
Kaf Chet.
Kavchet. Koach. You guys have koach.
Yes.
Because you need koach, because you need this pasuk.
So,
When I came to Israel years ago, there was a song. Oh, tell me koach. Na, 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 na.
no, it goes another way.
So now I'm going to say, Tenli Koach. Please someone give me this pasuk, which is Kavchet.
Yeah, I think that one song to it. Because it seems like, excuse me, on Shabbat, don't we sing that, just before
I'll
the
tell you later.
5:15?
It's an appendix at the end of the shir.
At the end. Stay after.
The appendix.
You stay after.
We can't, we're gonna go into God and a God.
The S ha-boshes. The S ha.
Bosem, not Boshes. Boshes is embarrassment.
Boshem.
Bosem.
Bosem.
Bosem means from the word besamim, like
The spices.
spices. But in modern Hebrew, Bosem is cologne. A man who wears cologne.
So you say, don't spray my car with this stuff because it never goes away and it gets sick.
So this is another ingredient that we need to make sure. And what's really amazing is that all the things they needed, they somehow were given as gifts by the Mitzrayim when they came out of Egypt, right? They happen to have spices, happen to have this, happen to have that, because their neighbor happened to have a little spices, so they gave everyone whatever they had.
Yeah, but when the spices...
Please get out of here
The
with my boasting.
and the oil. The ma'or for the
By the way, you see under Shemin is a pitchfork.
et nachta.
Yeah, very good.
No?
I didn't know you knew the name of it. Very
What's
good.
that?
You know what esnachta means? From the word nach. You know what nach means? To rest.
Rest.
It's like a semicolon,
Right.
or a comma at least.
Then why is the music on Monday
So
night?
try to stop when you get to that kind of a pitchfork. Imagine somebody sitting there with a pitchfork saying, don't go any further,
Okay.
because he just finished a phrase.
Right.
And that's called Etnata?
Esnachta.
Oh, I thought that's what it was.
So it's combining the spices and the oil.
That's right. And why do you need these things? For two different reasons.
The
You need it
ma'or
lima'or, for the sake of the light.
the light.
Right.
The shemen
Hamishcha.
hamishcha.
What's shemen hamishcha?
Now,
You know, the word mishcha is from the word Mashiach. We're always talking
the
from
anointing.
Mashiach.
The anointing oil. the
That's
anointing
right.
oil.
Now, why did they need anointing oil? Because they anointed all of the vessels,
Right. And
as well as the people. But
Right.
the main thing they were anointing the vessels. We don't normally do that, but to kick off the Mishkan, they needed Shem of the Mishkan to inaugurate the temple. And also, one more thing,
Building
they
the
needed
Torahs,
Ketorah Hasamim.
Hasamim.
So Ketorah, we know what it means. The word Ketorah, right? You don't know what Ketorah is?
Keter.
Pitum HaKetorah, at the end of davening.
Hmm.
The end of davening. You say, or maybe in Chusards you weren't used to saying it. I think on Shabbos they say it, but perhaps not during the week. But here they say it every day at the end. The last thing, what's the last thing? Right before Kaddish to Rabbanan? After Eleni you say Shir Shal Yom.
Right.
Then you're supposed to say something called Pitum HaKetorah.
Being Shalom,
I think I said
and
this.
Start to say it. Now
that's
you're living there. It's Israel. You should act like an Israeli.
Oh.
what you say.
I'll have to look and see what
You
it
said.
is.
Pass the
that's
sitter
what you say.
behind you.
Kivei El
Steve, can I put you to work?
Yes.
Turn around and get the sitter. There's a sitter right there. Lying down. Art scroll sitter.
I don't say anything
I'll
after
find it,
Shoshan.
I'll find it.
Maybe the art
That's
scroll
the
doesn't
last
have
thing
it
I
because
said.
maybe they only do an American
you sure?
version.
What?
Are you in school?
Am I in shul?
sometimes.
But he's probably like all of us, just catching up.
Yeah, I daven slow, so I'm very
He's
seldom.
probably like in his own little world, his
That's
cocoon.
right. I'm in my world, that's right.
So,
I
but
skip a
you
lot
at
of
least
things
have to be
also.
aware they're saying Kaddish Rabban, because Kaddish Rabban is even more chashuv than all the other Kadeshim.
Yeah, well, I usually talk to that.
So
No.
that Kaddish Rabban is because we're learning at the end. The
No.
learning at the end
Is the people.
is the Pitom Ketores.
No.
Doesn't have it?
No.
See the dog go.
That's my
Give it me,
secret.
give it me.
No.
On
It's an
Shabbat,
American
give it me.
sinner,
I'll
that's
Oh,
try
good.
it.
Shabbat.
It's not his fault.
Let me finish Shabbat.
Yeah,
Shabbat's
probably
there.
on Shabbat.
Shabbat is there.
Just before, I
I know exactly where it is.
don't think you say it, you don't say it, do
Musa.
you? You don't say it.
I say it every day.
Oh, you don't.
I do so.
Yeah. I know someone that at the end of his year of davening from the Alma, was just davening this one long Shemon Esrei. He just wanted to make up for the whole year that
The
he had to
Victoria,
rush
that's
everything.
something.
Okay. It's on Shabbos and Chusar.
See,
But
it's
here we say it every day. Pitum Ketores. Sorry, that's Koran, Akel Manova, Levana,
I
Mishkal.
have to tell you though, I have to tell
What
you.
is it? It's the incense mixture. How they used to mix it all
You're
together.
right, you're right.
So much of this, so much of that.
Right.
Okay, which actually was in last week's Parsha, Kisisa. Last week's Parsha had exactly the measurements of the Ketores, if you read last week's Parsha.
Right.
Okay, so this is Pitum, the filling up of the Ketores, right, which is the spice incense mixture. So really here we're saying Ketores Hasamim. So Samim means the incense, right? So what's Ketores really mean? Ketor is a column of smoke. Ketor. Like you see it mentioned in a few places where we're talking about, things were burning, there was a pillar of smoke somewhere or something.
Straight
That's called
up.
Yes,
Ketor,
it
right?
always went straight up. It never went anything but
But it's like the word kesher, really. The word kesher. It's like it's tied up. All the smoke gets tied up as it goes up. Like
Oh, wow.
it talks about also clouds formulating. Clouds also, the Chazal call it the tying things. They start to tie up. The clouds get tied up together. So you have all these little wisps, and then they all get tied up together. Anyhow, so that's where really what the word Ketores means, the pillar of smoke. So what you really are supposed to do is create a pillar of smoke of the visamim, of the spices.
Right.
It's not just to smell nice, like a regular visamim would just be to smell nice. Not just an air freshener, it's actually a pillar of smoke. Okay, so that's why you need these ingredients. Okay, very good. Anything in Rashi there? No Rashi, because he's already explained it back in Parshas.
Wait, there's a Kola.
There's a Rashi? Let me see a Rashi.
Right here.
Rashi?
This is Rashi.
No,
Oh,
that's
this
the
is
Unkelos.
Unkelos.
I would advise to read Unkelos on every pasuk. It will help your Aramaic incredibly. You become the greatest Gemara scholar overnight if you read the Unkelos. Because you actually know what the words mean. Okay. Now, Chavtes, who would like to read after?
Mordechai's not
It's
ready.
going Mordecai. Okay, Mordecai, can you
There
praise
is-
us? Your beautiful voice.
Sing it, yeah.
כל איש ואישה אשר נודע ליבם עושים להביא לכל המלאכה אשר ציווה השם לעשות ביד משה הביאו בני ישראל מדבר להשם.
Beautiful. Now, let's try to get some meaning in there. Kol ish v'isha.
Every man and lady.
Right. Now, originally they said they should bring it, but here it's talking about they did bring it, I believe. Right, it's telling the story. Once Moshe told everyone what he needed, every man and woman had to examine their heart and decide whether they really want to give it to the Mishkan. Right? Because it says there's a condition. Let's say I knew my friend had some of these ingredients, but he was kind of greedy. That's why I call it an ingredient.
Very clever.
But I know I could pressure him into it. I go over and tell him, didn't you just hear Moshe say he needs it? And I know you have it in your drawer over there. I saw it the other day. What are you waiting for, you greedy idiot? Right? Are you allowed to do that? No. You know why? You know which words teach us that?
Nadav
Nadav, Asher Nadav Liban. It had to be a voluntary, like in modern Hebrew, voluntary means like hitz nadvut, is to volunteer, right? The hitz nadvut. Okay, and that's why Nadav Avihu. It's very interesting that they are like in their name. The name was Nadav. Okay, but basically there had to be this ingredient of that the heart really, truly, freely wanted to give it, not because of any external pressure. I once heard a very nice pshat in that, by the way. Because then the Mishkan represented completely the heart of Klal Yisrael. Since everything given was through the heart, only if the heart really wanted to give, therefore the embodiment of the heart of Israel is the Mishkan. That's why Sinas Chinam destroys the Mishkan, the Maharal says. Destroys the temple.
It's just the opposite.
Because it's like saying there's no heart in this anymore. We're not. There's no. It's like a contradiction. We're not together. But it's supposed to represent that all of our hearts draw together into one place. But if there's sinas chinam, it's the opposite. So that's why it destroys the speech. Anyhow, okay, so this is an important ingredient. Asher nadav libam osam. Right? Their heart made them want to come, and voluntarily. To what? Lahavi kol hamalacha. All the work. You see here the word work doesn't mean what we normally mean when we say work. Right? Because work should mean an activity. Like the 39 activities that are Asr on Shabbos are called malacha. And in fact, that's how we know the 39 malachas. Because Hashem said, whatever goes into the Mishkan is what you're not allowed to do on Shabbos. That was at the beginning of the parsha. But here the word malacha doesn't mean activity. It's being used in a separate sense here. They brought all the malacha. They brought all the malacha. Right? L'kol malacha. Meaning they brought it for the sake of what would need to be done afterwards. By the way, what period of time are we talking about here? When did they actually bring it? Does anyone know the time period here? When? When in the calendar? When in the calendar?
Oh, sure.
Oh, no.
Which month?
This is Nisan.
No.
It finished at
Tishrei.
Hanukkah.
No.
Tishrei.
Moshe Rabbeinu went up,
at the end of the period.
he came down with the golden calf, went up again to ask forgiveness, came down, went up the third time on Rosh Chodesh Elul.
That's right.
When the 40 days ended, it was Yom Kippur. When Hashem said, okay, I do forgive them. Okay? Then if you look at the beginning of this parsha, Rashi says, Vayakel Moshe, what does Rashi say? And remember the first Rashi? Mimacharas Yom Kippur. First Rashi in the parsha. Look back.
Yes.
Page Kuf Pei Vav.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Vayakel Moshe L'macharas Yom Kippur. Kishi Yarad Minahar. The last time he came down was the day after Yom Kippur, because Yom Kippur is when he actually heard Hashem say he forgives them. And that becomes forever the day of forgiveness. But the next day is when he came down and told them about the Mishkan. Okay? Now, so that was on which day? Yom Kippur is on which day?
The 15th of Tishrei.
I hope you guys know what Yom Kippur is.
10th of Tishrei.
10th of Tishrei.
Yeah, 15th.
That's not a mitzvah.
The 11th of Tishrei.
Gedalia.
This is on the 11th of Tishrei. And then if you look, it says how many days did they have to bring? They had 3 days to bring. Okay, and they had brought so much.
13th.
Why not 4 days? Sukkot is the 15th, right?
That's right. They stopped right before Sukkot.
So they had
That they had enough. And the Vilna Gaon says because now the clouds of glory came back.
Oh,
Right.
And that's why we symbolize that with Sukkot on the 15th. So, they're bringing it back for the sake of malacha that will be done. When will they actually work on it? After the 15th or whatever. If they kept Sukkot that year, they didn't do it on Yom Tov. Maybe they started Chol HaMoed, I don't know. But maybe they didn't even keep Sukkot at that point yet. Maybe they hadn't been commanded in Sukkot at that point yet, I don't know. Anyhow, the point being, they kept working and working and working, and when at the end of the parsha it says everything was done. That wasn't right. That should have been the Chanukah Samizbeach should have been on Chanukah. Chanukah waited thousands of years to be paid back, and it finally was paid back on Chanukah. There was a Chanukah Samizbeach finally on the day that should have been in the beginning.
Right, but the traditional time, when the beginning of the Torah, everything goes in Nisan.
That's right, they waited for Nisan because Nisan was the time when Yitzchak was born. And Yitzchak represents Avoda, offering himself as a korban. Therefore, and that's when it was appropriate to build the Mishkan. And Moshe Rabbeinu got flack for that. They said they finished the Mishkan. He told them, we had a Mishkan and the Shechina and everything. And, blah, blah, blah. And then from Hanukkah on, it was just sitting in boxes. All of Tevis, all of Shvat, all of Adar. They're making fun of Moshe.
And other,
Chazal tells us this. I'm not making it up.
So what's new?
And other too.
Exactly. What?
Oh, no, but then...
At the end of Adar, there was final last 7 days of
So
Adar.
when did he do Bakurim? When did he
Make
take
the
anything
counting.
out of the box and start counting things?
Well, maybe he counted it right away, so he knew what was in the boxes, etc. But there was a lack of. When we get to the end of the parsha, we just realized there was a few months there where it actually was waiting for the opportune moment, which is Rosh Chodesh Nisan, to do it. Right? Sometimes you have to realize that sometimes we think everything's ready, but Hashem's not. It's not the opportune time. Hashem wants us to wait for the right time.
Did it coordinate with the future time when Hanukkah, whatever thing happened in the Jewish history?
No, we say that Hanukkah was paid back years later because the day, the 25th of Kislev, complained to Hashem.
Yeah.
I was supposed to have a Hanukkah Mizbeach on that day because everything was ready, right? And you decided to push it off a few months, but I still want to be paid back. So Hashem said, fine. There will come a time when you get paid back. There'll be a Hanukkah Mizbeach. Right? Hashem pays everything in the right time. Now, so they brought everything, we're talking about during that period of time, from the 11th of Tishrei till the 15th of Tishrei or the 14th of Tishrei. And it was for the sake of all the malacha which would go into the Mishkan. Asher tziva Hashem lasos biyad Moshe. Heviu b'nei Yisrael nadava. Again, stressing that it was all voluntary for Hashem. Is there a Rashi on this? Again, no Rashi. Okay, the next pasuk has Rashi. Let's go on to the next. Zruli, Lamed.
Lamed. V'yama Hashem, v'yama Moshe el b'nei Yisrael. Moshe said to b'nei Yisrael, Ro'u kara Hashem, see Hashem called Hashem, B'tzalel.
Now again, there's a pitchfork under the word b'shem. That means you should pause and not just run it into the next word. He called something b'shem. Okay? Notice he made an announcement and called out someone's name in Shemayim. You know, like they say before a person's born, Hashem, or no, even before they're conceived, 40 days before the conception, it says so and so will marry so and so. There's an announcement in Shemayim what the person's purpose in this world is.
Not
Okay?
everybody gets married though.
That's part of his purpose, is who's going to marry, who's going to build a house with, who's going to wear, what field he's going to buy, it says.
No, but he said not everybody gets married.
Not everybody gets married. Not everybody keeps the mitzvahs. Does that mean anything? It just means they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
When the people try to get married, they just
Again, I can't look at any particular person and say it's their fault, but the truth of the matter is, if Chazal tells us that everyone has a zivug, unless there's some kind of a gilgul and it's a weird tikkun that they're working out or something, but most people are supposed to get married in this world. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to get married and have children.
Only for the man.
That's what the Rashi
So you can say it's a mitzvah to have tefillin, but if some guy doesn't have any arms, what's he supposed to do? Put it on his nose? Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe he's patur because he can't do it. But most people have a mitzvah to be l'kayim.
This is a tikkun or something.
Yeah, it could be. Oh. All right, so he called out the name. Now, what name was it? This famous name.
B'tzalel ben Uri ben Hur, L'mate Yehuda. B'tzalel, the son of Uri, the son of grandson of Hur.
Right.
Hur was killed in the...
That's right. Rashi's.
They say it's his grandfather.
Rashi doesn't talk about the whole thing here, but that's right. Part of the reason why he grew up with such incredible milas is because his grandfather was Moser Nefesh at the time of the Chede Egel. He actually died in order to try to protect. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
If anybody needs to go to the bathroom to prepare for mincha, they can. But I'm assuming that whoever can stay would want an extra minute learning Chumash before
So
mincha.
we can stay when it's...
You can go to Beth Rumistan.
His name's not Stan. Okay, let's see Rashi. Truly, there's a hole in my Rashi. Chur. There's a chur in my Rashi.
Yeah, you go. Get a clinic.
So Miriam Hoya, he was the son of Miriam.
You see, Chur was the son of Miriam, so he had very great auspicious beginnings. Right? He actually had. But how old was Bezalel, by the way? Anyone know how old he was?
13.
13 years old. And what did he know how to do? What did he know how to do?
Nothing.
Every single thing that needed to be done for the Mishkan he knew, plus all the Kabbalistic things, Chachma, Tavuna, Das, all these things, Laksho, Makshavos.
He could picture in.
He knew how to be Mitzaref, the Shemos of Hashem, all at the age of 13. Right? Obviously Hashem gave him a tremendous gift.
Some people have it, some people don't.
Well, the point is that sometimes if we need to do something, Hashem wanted us to build a Mishkan, they rose to the occasion. They were just lowly avadim at that point. But we should think that if we can't do something, all we have to do is turn to Hashem, and He could just give us a gift of knowing how to do that thing. Right? Obviously we don't just want everything to be a gift. We want to work for certain things to get schar. But sometimes we feel like, oh my gosh, I'm up against a wall, I can't do this, can't do that. Think of Bezalel, age of 13, he was able to do everything exactly that was needed for the Mishkan. Of course, he had help. But at the age of 13, little bar mitzvah, little kid, one of these little kids, you can't believe he's wearing a hat and tefillin. He's like this little tiny kid. And he was able to do all this. He could do all these things. It was a gift. It was a gift from Hashem. As well as all the Torah that Moshe learned, It says every day he learned and he forgot. Every single day of the 40 days. The last day Hashem gave him a gift to remember. But he had to try. He tried and tried and tried. And asked Hashem to see out the Shema. Huh?
He's just like me.
Exactly.
I learn. I go home, my wife says, where did you learn today? I go,